in terms of with George Pickens, was just asking what this game meant to him, not only as his, in his first win as a Cowboy, but when you reflect over his career and you think about him at, just going back to the, Pittsburgh Steelers. You could tell that this meant a lot to him because he went through a lot of adversity in Pittsburgh, and he said this game, the back and forth, made him feel like it was like his career.
Clarence DLLS with the great, legendary Josina Anderson, longtime NFL reporter, NFL insider, newsbreaker of the Exhibit
News Network.
News Network, Exhibit News Network. She got to witness Shottie's first win, Shottie's wild first win. Brandon Butter Aubrey nailed some field goals to send it to overtime and win the game. Dak Prescott missed most of the last season with that leg injury, showed that he can still run a little bit and set up the game winner with a 14-yard run. What's your initial impression of Shottie's Cowboys?
Well, first of all, I did think that he had them prepared in the opener against the Eagles, though they suffered the loss. So despite the fact that it was his first, game coaching, even there, I thought that you could see kind of marks of that in Philadelphia. And then what kind of stood out for me in this game was the resiliency that the team showed. I mean, starting off down 6-0, the offense really not working, to come out in halftime, start the second half with interception, but then to kind of get the lather going with the scoring back and forth. George Pickens have crucial catches, CeeDee Lamb have crucial catches, the running game getting going a little bit, what have you. Your guy from North Carolina, of course, Devontae Williams in there doing his thing as well. So I thought that displayed a maturation for the Cowboys, showing that they've been through adversity before, hung in there. Obviously a mark of the NFC East battle, both teams needing to get this win even so early in the season as well.
Right, must win. You don't want to go 0-2 in the division. The Cowboys lost to the Eagles last week. Not Washington, but the Giants lost to Washington last week. The no must wins in week 2, but you don't want to go 0-2. And Dak said it was definitely a must win because you don't want to go down 0-2 and start in that kind of hole. Because you start 0-2, 0-3, you don't make the playoffs. Your whole season is a ride. But when your first year coach, honeymoon's over, everybody's like, what's wrong with the Cowboys? You don't want that. Certainly, Josina Anderson, I call her the receiver whisperer because she has relationships with all these diva receivers across the NFL, including the Odell Beckhams of the world. And so I started talking locker room with CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens. Your impressions of Pickens and Lamb, how they're melding together with Dak Prescott?
I feel like what stood out to me in my one-on-one with CeeDee Lamb is that you can tell he's matured. He's got a good head on his shoulders. Even though he has the big contract, he still wants to show his value. He still, I even remarked to him, I could see after the game against the Eagles that your expression, your face, your emotions seemed befallen after, the loss in Philadelphia. And he said, I wanted to show my team today that they can rely on me, that I am him. And so that was important, that it weighed on him, even with everything that he has going on him. And then what stood out with me in terms of with George Pickens was just asking what this game meant to him, not only as his, in his first win as a Cowboy, but when you reflect over his career and you think about him at, just going back to the, Pittsburgh Steelers. You could tell that this meant a lot to him because he went through a lot of adversity in Pittsburgh, and he said this game, the back and forth, made him feel like it was like his career. And, he basically said that it's almost like my own trilogy, and that this was actually the best win in his book, in his career.
Yeah, Pickens is a guy who's been a number one most of his career, certainly the number one option in Pittsburgh. Coming in Dallas is different. You don't have you're not getting all the targets. You have to show some patience, and he showed patience. And when the Cowboys needed him in the fourth quarter and overtime, he was there making plays.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell just how much the opportunity has invigorated him. I mean, playing for the Cowboys is a big opportunity, just because of the facility, the lore, America's team. So he knows that he got, a mulligan in terms of being able to start again. Not everybody is fortunate enough to get there. And you can tell that he understands that. And then for that to happen in the first game, to be a win, to contribute the way that he did, particularly with the big catch in the end, even after the pass interference call that could have, been detrimental. Yeah. So he was happy to get the win in the end.
And he's trying to get paid in the offseason. You want to, I talked to him earlier, he wants to put out a good first impression. He wants to show I'm not that guy in Pittsburgh. This is who I am. So he can get the big payday in the offseason again. Josina Anderson, Clarence Hill, DLS Cowboys.